It was just outlets. Instead of high cheekbones, brown eyes and a cute puckered mouth, there was a completely flat, metallic surface, full of holes. My boyfriend's face looked like a wall fixture or maybe the back of a TV. I screamed and staggered against the bathroom's towel rack. "Oh, Beth, God!" My boyfriend's voice came through a tiny speaker on his outlet face. He grabbed a fleshy oval he was drying in the sink and pressed it against his head. I could hear a snap and click as he thumbed his cheeks. Within seconds, his face was attached like normal, or at least as normal as it could appear after such a horrific reveal.
"So sorry you had to see me like that."
I turned and fled. Out of instinct more than anything, I ran to our kitchen and grabbed a knife. The cold handle stayed glued to my palm.
Beth, calm down, please."
My boyfriend emerged with outstretched, cautious hands.
"No need to overreact."
He stayed away from the glint of my knife. "Where's Tim?" I said, looking right into my boyfriend's eyes. "What did you do with Tim?" "Beth, relax. I am Tim. I've always had this." He gestured behind his jawbones. I could see little divots where his face had just connected, little divots I had always thought were just some old acne scars. "I'm really sorry. I should have told you sooner. I should have told you as soon as I found out." What the fuck was he talking about? Found out what? That I'm not technically, that I'm not fully organic. The words froze me in place. Out of all the possible phrases he could have uttered, I really did not like the sound of not fully organic. He nodded wordlessly several times. "I know it's awkward. I should have told you sooner, but as you might guess, it's not exactly the easiest thing to share." I stared for a long moment at this hunched-over, wincing, apologetic person who claimed to be my boyfriend. I pointed at him with the knife. "Explain." "I will, but first, why don't we put the blade away? Let's calm ourselves. Let's sit down." "You sit down." Although visibly a little frightened of my knife, he looked and behaved as Tim always did. His eyes still had the same shine, his lips still curled and puckered in that typical Tim way. If I hadn't seen him faceless a moment ago, I wouldn't have doubted his earnestness for a second. But I had seen him faceless, and now a primal, guttural impulse told me I couldn't trust him. He has a plug face. He has a plug face. "I'll go sit down." Tim raised his arms cooperatively. He grabbed one of our fold-out chairs and seated himself on the far end of our living room. "Here, I'll sit here and give you lots of space." I unlocked the door to our apartment and stood by the front entrance. My hand still clutched the small paring knife in his direction. "It's a very warranted reaction," Tim said. "I get it. Truly, I do. But it doesn't have to be this uncomfortable, Beth. I'm not a monster. I promise I'm still the same me. I'm not going to hurt you." I aimed the stainless steel at him without quivering. "Just explain." He gave a big, long inhale, followed by an even longer sigh, as if doing so could somehow deflate the intensity of the situation. "Okay, I'll try my best to explain. It's a whole lot I've uncovered over the last while, and I don't really know where to begin, but I'll start with the basics. First of all, we aren't real." I scoffed. I couldn't help myself. "We?" "Well, I don't fully know about you yet. I suspect you're artificial as well, but definitely me. I have fully confirmed that I'm a fake." Goosebumps ran down my neck. With my free hand, I touched the area behind my jawline. I couldn't feel any indents. I've never had any indents there. "A fake?" I asked. "A fake. A null. I'm not a real living person. I've been programmed with just enough memories to make it feel like I'm a carpenter in my early 30s, but really, I'm just background filler. Some sort of synthetic bioroid. Every word he said coiled a wire in my stomach. There's a couple others I discovered online. Tim pulled out his phone. Fakes, I mean. Their situations are similar to ours. It's always a young couple sharing a brand new apartment, one they can't possibly afford. He let the word hang. What do you mean? I said. We can afford our apartment. Beth, I've never worked a day in my life. What are you talking about? Tim steepled his hands and brought them over his face. I've set GoPros in my clothing. I've recorded where I've gone. After I put on my overalls and wave you goodbye, I take the elevator to our garage. But instead of going to P1 where our car is parked, I actually go down to P4 and lock myself up. Inside a locker. What? Something overrides my consciousness, and I sleep standing for hours. I'm talking like a full 8-hour workday, plus some buffer for any fictional traffic. Then my memory is wiped. What? I used to think my boyfriend Tim was just strange. Then, one night, he pulled off his face. Not metaphorically, literally. It came off like a silicone mask. Underneath, smooth panels, lenses, wires. I froze. I bit my tongue, hoping I was dreaming. But I wasn't. He said he was a bioroid, a lifelike synthetic person created to populate our apartment complex and make it seem more desirable. A fake resident, in a fake life. I laughed at him, thought he'd gone mad. But then things started making sense. The neighbours I saw every day, always the same routines, jogging, gardening, waving, at the exact same time, wearing the same outfits, every day. When I filmed them, nothing showed up, just empty streets. Tim said we were built for ambience, that even I might be fake. I was furious, hurt. I left him. I moved in with a new boyfriend, Tyler. New building, new life, normal, right? Until I noticed this place was too quiet. No noisy neighbours, no random deliveries, just silence and perfectly clean hallways. And people. Same faces, same routes, every time. Tyler said I was overthinking, but then I caught him saying he'd fixed a leak on the 17th floor. Our building only has 16. When I asked again, he brushed it off like a joke. But that night I couldn't sleep. I remembered what Tim said. Check your memories, they're not real. So I did. I couldn't remember the last time I had a conversation that wasn't through a screen. Or the last time I saw a stranger trip, spill coffee, or even sneeze. Everything was too perfect. Then I started filming myself. Leaving the apartment, talking, walking. Sometimes it recorded, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes the videos glitched or looped. Was I being watched? Or worse, was I being reset? Tim texted me again from a new number, said they were decommissioning him, that our whole relationship had been part of some environmental illusion. I told him to get help, but something in me still wondered. Then, last night, I looked in the mirror for a long time, longer than I ever had. I ran my fingers behind my jaw just to check, just to be sure. And for a moment, I swear I felt a seam.